Let's get into it. The final match of the night, Roffle and Bliss. That is what we've got up for you in store on the menu. A bit of medium rare, I reckon this one is. Xenox, what do you think?
Mate, don't. I'm so hungry, and you've come in here talking about medium rare and steaks and stuff like that. But look, this is hopefully going to be a really good game as well to sort of back up the Avert Rhythm game that we just had. That was 7-5, and look, this one's a very difficult one to call, not going to lie. I know we're paid to be here and say that we know what we're talking about, but off the back of Roflcopter's performance yesterday, and even Bliss's performance yesterday, you know, Rhythm pushed them. I will say this though, Roflcopter 7-2'd order, but apparently anyone can do that.
First and foremost, you get paid? What? Hang on, what? What's going on here?
I was meant to keep that a secret. Sorry,
Rob.
Rob.
God damn, I tell you what. Let's have a look at this roster and have a bit of a yarn here, Vast, because Roffle is a team that I feel like has seen a lot of highs and lows, no pun intended, you know. I feel like sometimes they're going to refuel the chopper before they get back out there, but I think this new iteration with Cakin and Wettables is quite dangerous.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of doubts, but from yesterday's performance, yeah, they look like they are synergizing well with the rest of the team. You know, sometimes when you pick up, you know, make roster changes, especially 2 roster changes, there is a bit of, you know, growing pains, and, you know, it does take a while to find your feet, but, you know, these guys came out kind of guns blazing, and, yeah.
Bunch of gamers. Bunch of gamers, Xenox. Let's have a look at their opponents. It is,
yep.
What did you call them? I think I heard you call them at about 7 times. Is it King of Best of Ones? Is that
King of Best of Ones?
Best of One King, whatever you want to call them. Well, apparently, you know, it's a little bit up in the air about their Best of One incredible reign as they went 7-5 against Rhythm.
You want another fun fact with Xenox? I dished them out basically all night long, as Guz knows by now. The fun fact, although not so fun fact for Team Bliss fans, the last time they lost a Best of One, guess who their opponent was? Wait, was it Roffle? Oh no, never mind. It was Knights. I actually just misread it. That's
God, no.
Okay. The last time that they... Okay,
no.
I'll fix this. Fun fact with Xenox, the last time that Bliss lost to a team not named Chiefs was Roflcopter, and that was in the Stage 1 playoffs. There you go. I fixed it. I saved it.
You've really scuffed that.
Saved that one.
No, you really didn't.
What do you
I
mean?
promise you.
The last time that Bliss lost to any other team besides Chiefs was back in Stage 1.
And that's a pretty damning stat, Vast. Do you think that holds any weight in Stage 3?
To be honest, I didn't even hear what the stat was. I was gonna. Xenox is just boring me with all these stats.
Yeah, please, by all means, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, look, I don't know. They're really consistent beer ones. There's not much else to say. It seems like Chiefs were the only team that could take them down. But I mean, there is kind of a bit of a rivalry with this team. I mean, we did see Roffle, you know, knock these guys out in Stage 1 playoffs. So I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for Bliss by any means.
Quite a dangerous roster, all things considered. You know, you think about the Jigsaws and the Repixes, and think about what they're capable of if they're all firing. But that's the real question. Will they be? We'll go to the veto process for Xenox to dissect. Let me guess, you don't have the... Oh, we're going to Oregon. Thank God.
Close.
It was way too close. I don't think I could have done a third Villa tonight, I'll be honest with you, Xenox. I mean, I'm a fan,
I was ready for it. I was ready, and I was hoping for it. We were this close to another Villa. This is the thing. There's a bit of a misconception floating around, Rob, that I don't like Villa. I actually do like Villa. Just haven't been able to see too much of it. Fortunately, we're starting to see it a little bit more. Wasn't to be. Roflcopter said no, and we head to Oregon instead.
Vast, please give me something more than what Xenox just did on Oregon. Please give me something that's worth listening
to. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't seen Roffle play Oregon in quite some time. But the last time I did see them play on it, they actually had some like kind of weird strats, like really off-meta picks, and kind of weird aggressive site executes.
Okay.
Bliss, I mean, this has always been a map that they've liked, so To be honest, I was expecting more of a kind of coast, maybe CAF, but it seems like Roffle don't want to play CAF.
Yep. Well, I guess we can
I
get
got one for you if you want to come back to me.
Is this another interesting fact?
This is another hot take.
Well, neither of these two teams have ever played Villa, so for it to have actually gotten it that close, actually they have. The stats wrong.
Oh my god.
I got baited by Dev! I got baited by Dev!
All right, final thoughts from our main
Dev
man,
Marta!
Bass. What are we thinking in terms of predictions? Screw Dev Marta, screw your stat tracker. Give me some support here, Bass. What are we thinking before we head into this one?
Oh, I predict 8-6 win for Bliss, kind of in overtime. Yeah, I mean, not really much to say. I think that Roffle, they have a good understanding about how Bliss play. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of boring, but I think it's going to be a back and forth game. And yeah, I think we are going to go to OT.
Cool. All right, well, let's see whether we do so or not. Let's get ready to rumble. It's time to get into it, the fly-throughs. Let's jump into it. Xenox, me and you, holding hands together, besties forever. Thanks, mate. You know what? I'm done with
awesome. Well done. Let's get into the game of the night, though. Roflcopter versus Team Bliss. Our final matchup for Playday 2 of the Oceanic Nationals Stage 3. Fun fact with Xenox, though, the last time Roflcopter played Oregon was back in March, which feels like a lifetime ago, as of course we are in September now.
Are you absolutely sure of that?
I am 120% sure of that. I've had a triple check. They won both of those two games, by the way, Rhythm and Knights. That was back in March, 21st of March, 22nd of March. Since then, Roffle have not played Oregon until now.
All right, Xenox, Mr. Colorboy, let's take these bands and pick them to pieces.
Yeah,
Ying
Flores
and
off the board, Oregon. It's a staple that is, for some reason, not showing up in the statistic down the bottom. Although it is 9%. Well, that's just going to keep rising and rising. Ying, we don't see Ying banned too often anymore. Could have been, I guess, maybe a target ban, but it also makes a little bit of sense as well, especially on Oregon. And Valk and Wamai, I don't think there's any issues with either of those. Wamai doesn't get banned too much. It does mean, though, Mira and Kaida both still available, the two most banned operators usually on Oregon defense. There you go.
Jeez, that is next level.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Does help that I had the stats right on the screen in front of me, but hey, that's, you know, I just work with what I got.
Oh, well, fair enough. You got a fair bit here on OCN. I'll tell you what, they put a bit into this bloody product.
They bloody do. Yep.
Yeah, they certainly do. They make it a grand old show, a great product to watch as a viewer. So, all right, a little bit of a cheeky front on the clash before swapping out to the mirror. Oh my god, I feel like I never see Capitao played anymore. I am so thankful that we are finally getting to see him again. I genuinely think he is the most underused and underrated operator there is in this game. Thank God.
Certain we saw actually a little bit of Capitao yesterday. I can't recall if it was Roflcopter themselves using it, but definitely saw a little bit of Capitao. Either way, the HP by Omen community vote, 50% split down the middle.
Wow, that's a hard split as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty confident. I guess, you know, we were all on the Bliss camp, I think, but we all still know that, like, Roffle, as much as we all predicted Bliss, I think this is the same conversation that we had with Chiefs and Knights, right? Like, we know that Chiefs are the more favored in that just facing Knights in a best of one, and it's the same thing here for Bliss and Roflcopter. However, there's a real aura around Roflcopter that is very dangerous, and you don't want to give them the opportunity to come into this game because they will run away with it. But we'll wait and see whether that happens or not. First round underway, and we are down in thy basement.
I will be done. Thy basement will be attacked. Oh, God, completely awful. Yeah, you know what? You should just take my paycheck right now.
Yeah.
Look, this is going to be a very good game, though, and I think there's also going to be some ramifications for the long term in terms of this entire stage. Team Bliss, of course, you know, looking to get into the top 5 again, or at least, you know, let's be real, first place probably, or at least second at minimum. And for Roflcopter, with this new look Roflcopter, that already has 3 points banked up. If they win this game, not only would they, of course, be the first team to beat Bliss in a long while that's not Chiefs in a best of 1, but it would mean they're on 6 points after just 2 play days. I mean, seriously, they're almost like halfway there, but with 5 play days to go.
Pretty crazy when you take into consideration, you know, you look back at stage 2 and the benchmark for playoffs. Let's just take a very quick look. Was 10 points. So smack bang on. If they do walk away with this, it would be pretty much, I mean, a sure thing. You wouldn't imagine they'd be able to do anything else. Boydie, hello. It's a nice little pick onto Jigsaw, one of the top fraggers, not only on Bliss, but in the wider OCN league. So nice little opening to start things off.
So it looks like it's going to be a blue bunker push. They'll try and get a bit of backstairs control. Already got the meeting hatch open, minute left. Actually thinking Roflcopter are doing very well here for time, and they've got the opening pick. We've actually seen Laundry Supply going the way of the attackers so far here for stage 3, and it's shaping up to be that way again. Todd's the big play though over towards Elbow. If he can hold on, maybe find a pick, and then get back on site. Real. What an angle and a whole line. Hello, Shade.
That's
Thanks for me a Coke.
God damn. That is a ridiculous haircut. And Todd's going to be able to get away from Elbow. Oh my God. Oh my God. Todd just manages to make that work. And now it's all up to Roflcopter to make their decision. And that decision is go time. What kind of utility do they have to use? Looks like OJ is going to make up a line as Repix finds another one for the road.
OJ, yeah, I mean, like, they've lost both their hard breaches, Kaken and Hotshot, out for the count. Shade making some big plays from Breezer. 3 for the round. Oda to finish it off. When I thought Roflcopter were looking pretty good, Rob, Shade just says, nah.
Disgusting. 3 kills in the round, and all of them are as gnarly as the other. That's ridiculous. And now, well, that's a bloody start for Bliss, because we're headed to kids and dorms. Oh, Xenox. Xenox.
Yes.
What is it about this site, mate? What makes this site so intriguing?
Here's the thing. Now, be honest with me. Did you watch yesterday at all? You gotta answer the question. Did you watch yesterday at all? The Knights Avert match, which was on Oregon.
I watched bits and pieces of it, but nowhere near. Oh no,
okay.
No, I was in a meeting. I couldn't even watch it.
Right.
I was watching the scoreboard.
Okay, well that's fine. I'll take that. Fun fact for you: in that match yesterday, last night, the only site that Knights won was basically dorms. There was only one other site that Knights won. They won 1 defense down below in basement. I kid you not, every other site, dorms, and dorms. That was the only site they basically won. Me and Cuz at the end of the broadcast, at the 7-5 conclusion, said, well, yeah, for once, dorms really was the difference.
You don't want to tell any new viewers about your...
Okay, well, look, dorms is going to be the difference maker in this matchup. It usually is on Oregon. For whatever reason, it always comes down to dorms being the difference. And as I said, and as I pointed out yesterday, it was the difference.
Well, I haven't told you I love you, mate.
I think you did a couple of hours ago.
Yeah, I do tend to...
8:50 PM. What was that, 2 hours ago?
Yeah, I do tend to show the love around. That's all right. Gotta love thy homies, you know?
Yep.
By the way, speaking of homies, Repel, Mandy has done an absolute bang-on job on the obs tonight. Seriously, like, this is not an easy game to observe. There's no doubt about it, but pretty much caught every little piece of the action that we've needed.
Oh, I definitely agree with you there.
Thanks, Zelx, for agreeing with me. Oh no, it's getting to that stage of the night. I've got the giggles.
Come on, mate. 1 game to go. And a good one at that as well. Oh, no! I thought he had him. I legitimately thought he had Shade's head on a platter.
Oh.
But you know what? Shade is feeling it right now, Rob. He's 4-0.
This is a dangerous person to watch, I'll tell you that much. Weddable's making little to no noise and coming through to blue, but it won't make a damn difference. There's no one from Bliss underneath. There's no one to hear that, and no one to receive it either. So I guess now, with the man up, this puts them in an incredible position on the defense. You know, Roflcopter are just getting to start to put pressure on that vertical line from underneath in kitchen, and maybe they might be able to extend a little bit further and find themselves one.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? They've gone more so for this vert control, really trying to establish position inside of kitchen. I don't think I've seen too much, say, over towards attic or big window. So it's like, I don't even know. What's the end goal here right now for Roflcopter's attack? Wedables is just sitting inside a freezer.
Yeah. This is such an awkward decision for Roflcopter to make now because, well, that's really gnarly from Repix just sitting on freezer, waiting for that call to come in. And I mean, like this, you do see like the vertical play come through every so often, but generally it's after you've put pressure on Addict or, you know, on Game's wall. It's not generally the very first point of contention, especially for a whole team. You got to think nearly every player from Roflcopter has contested that vertical line or has been down in the basement. It's pretty absurd.
Yeah, I'll just take one from Guz here. He'd probably sit back and say, I just don't know how to analyze this right now. And I'm going to just basically repeat that. It looks like now, with 30 seconds left, they're going to draw their attention over towards Attic. But what will end up happening here is OJ's just going to file in, and both of them should just get eliminated by Jigsaw.
What? What? Jigsaw? What
Easy.
the? What?
Did he have anything?
There was no ping.
Was there nothing?
There was no ping.
Can we see that one again? I don't know if we've got the technology, but like a cross. Did he have a bullet hole? Was there a call out?
He had to have either had a call out or he must have seen him cross.
A Sixth Sense?
From the pit. He had to have seen him cross from the pit, or there's been a call out. Because otherwise it's just a spray through the wall, smack bang on his head.
Oh no.
Oh god. It's disgusting.
Wow.
It's disgusting. Oh, Jigsaw.
There has to have been maybe a call out. There's a player in pit and he's just thinking he's gone to the corner, like the back corner, and he's just taken a... Did he shoot first?
Yeah. Okay. The other player didn't even shoot. Jigsaw was the first player to shoot.
So Jigsaw didn't even have a shot audible call, like, it's nothing. Wow, okay.
No, and I don't think there was anyone in Trophy either. I think the only player there was in game. So that's, like, it could just be a bit of pre-fire shooting through the wall to try and... I mean, regardless, that is all fun and games. Now, let's talk about this round, because I hate Jigsaw. I tell you what.
You hate Jigsaw?
Yes, completely, well and truly, I will admit that. But I do like this extension into Shower. It's quite fruitful if you can play it correctly. You'll see they've got all the ADSs in there as well. And I don't know if they... okay, so they've actually got a Banshee just next to the Showers wall as well. So we'll wait and see how Roflcopter decide to deal with that. You can put pressure from multiple different angles, but it can be a bit of a trick trying to open things up. Holy Jesus. What?
Wait, where was that?
I don't even know. How
was that out, like...
get us... Was it over the bus?
Make his way to, like, bot white? Did he jump in through the window? I can't see it. I'm sure Mandy's showing me, but I'm just blind.
No.
Can you see anything?
I can't see the hologram. No, I can't see.
Is he above? I don't just... I feel like we're both just missing it, like, completely.
Just smack bang in the middle of our screen.
Either way, it's big, though, and especially on a kitchen dining defense where Roflcopter's going to have to adapt on the fly. Now down a player. They've lost those adrenal surges from Boydie. This is going to be very difficult. Fortunately, the only good thing here is they've still got both their hard breaches available.
Guess that's something to work with. And by the looks of it, K-Kin already using some of those X-Kairos across to that Shower wall. Don't mind this, opening up the lounge. Might look for a cheeky little plant, but using a lot of utility across that further wall. And no one's actually in shit. They don't have a single body on that western side.
Is it like a fake, like, Showers defense where you commit the utility but you're not in there, so we're not going to lose any players?
Has to be, I guess. Like, You know, this is the problem. This is why we don't have 2 play-by-plays ever.
Well, the other thing is we also don't see kitchen dining that often either, right? So anytime you do see it, you hope to see some sort of innovation. Shade, though, makes his way in, does have the Evil Eye protecting him as well. Should get this kill, doesn't. Now he tries to pull the pistol out. What a balls. Nice headshot, wins that 1v1. And now they can maybe play off of this. 4 versus 4 minute left, but why is he swinging shower corridor? Bliss just throwing manpower at this.
Well, the thing is, they've taken control of showers and they can go for the plant, so they need to try and get in there and, you know, put some bodies on the line, start to put Roflcopter back on their heels, but it's just not happening. Jigsaw, this could be absolutely, I can see Jigsaw winning this. No. Hot shot shuts him down, but a very strange round, Xenox. There's no doubt about it. You know, expected that shower extension and then there's no one there.
So Shade pushes up, loses his 1, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically then entry for RoflcopterGG. That's the big one, because if Shade gets the kill onto Wettables, it now makes it a 5 versus 3. Roffle don't have entry. Well, I mean, technically could still have entry into showers, but they wouldn't have it into dining. All they would basically have is a foothold sort of like small tower and shower corridor and then into showers. And there wouldn't have been that much time, down 2 players. So that 1v1 was definitely the critical point. Shade loses it. I think he makes a good play. I still don't quite understand sort of the game plan for that entire round. What was the sort of goal? Because I don't think we really saw it play out the way it was supposed to. We didn't even see the first kill.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Mind blown. But we do head back down to the basement now, Xenox. Push that one aside. This was incredibly successful for Bliss, and, you know, on the back of Shade hitting a pretty gnarly 3K. First started on the shot all the way out by the blue barrels and kind of continued with a nice little spray transfer on site. You're not really going to want to rely on that, but very much enjoyable to. It's soft on the eyes, as we say, Xenox. You know, it's a pleasure to watch. Now, just depending on how RoflcopterGG decide to approach this one, hopefully we'll see a little bit more success. Hopefully.
Out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
I think for RoflcopterGG, the main thing here is just don't run into Shade, because it wasn't going too bad last time on the basement attack for RoflcopterGG. It wasn't awful. They were going for blue bunker control, backstairs, and eventually looking for pillar. And then Shade just ended up with a nice couple of shots and basically put that round to bed. No fix on the room in attic at the moment, but don't suspect Bliss are going to go too heavy on any sort of roam. I'll keep it very much down below.
To the plate now, Wettables going to be approaching with the live droning in front of him, giving him the space to move and the information to do so as well as OJ starts to take control of kitchen. Latest from Roffle, not wasting too much time, Xenox, and I think that's really important, ensuring that you know well and truly there's no roam and there's also no ability for that flank early on. See OJ just not completely confident in what he's got right now, but now they'll have the backstage stairs pretty much trapped and ready to lock and load should Bliss decide to go for a flank. This is looking good. I'm really liking this so far.
And still a minute and a half as well, so good timing right now for RoflcopterGG. Team Bliss, I mean, they basically can't do anything right now. They're set up in their stations as to where they're going to defend. Basically one in every single room, which is fine. Will this shape up to be laundry and freezer push for Roffle? Couple of... No, never mind. It's very much going to be blue bunker once again. There's Shade. Has he got that sight line? No. That's the player to watch for sure.
Wettables using util. Really nice work on the concussion to make his way back in. They fall back behind the gate. A little bit frustrating right now for Wettables. Found himself a little bit, but not enough.
Okay, so pillar control established now for Roffle, and almost even got the kill onto Shade, who's now very critically low inside of Freezer. They got elbow control and blue. Jigsaw finds a kill onto Boydie. That was through one of the holes inside of the Rio. So 35 seconds left. Down a player. Again, you lose those adrenal surges, and they know that the Maverick hot shot over towards elbow. They know exactly where this push is coming from. Bliss can adapt.
Certainly can. That's exactly what they're going to do. My God, Jigsaw is so sharp. Look at this flank shade. My God. You're embodying a bit too much of Spruce there as Roffle now try to force their way onto the site, but Jigsaw and Repic stand strong. Kaken, you'll be able to find a kill, maybe two, but there's no more allowed. No nonsense in this round. And Bliss continue their storm.
And talk about the ability to adapt there from Bliss on the fly. Once they get the information that it's going to be a blue push, along with pillar control being established from Wettables, Shade plays it perfectly. There's no point really holding in that freezer position anymore. You may as well use it to rotate, and he does that to eventually find his way over towards backstairs and try and get that flanking opportunity. The big pickup was that kill onto Boydie. You get that kill, slows things down. They don't get those adrenal surges either. Hotshot ends up kind of being stuck a little bit in elbow because if he tries to open anything up, he doesn't have anyone there to cover him. So suddenly the attack from Roffle ends up stalling out, and Team Bliss can then, of course, bring players from like Laundry. Obviously, you get the flanking Shade, and you collapse in, and you pretty much snuff out that entire Roffle attack. Really well played from Bliss.
Certainly is. You know what, I won't lie, I did not expect to see so much Thunderbird, you know? I expected bits and pieces throughout, you know, kind of sprinkled, but I think we've seen more than I did expect, that's for sure. The Kona Station obviously coming in great use if you are going to be anchoring down. Now, who was it in the interviews that... Was it APAC South that we had an interview with? And someone was explaining why it was... Oh, it was Specker. Of course, Specker was, you know, kind of explaining what the use of... You know, how useful it is in a competitive format, and especially on sites where you're required to anchor down. This is the perfect example, Xenox. You know, how long do you see defenders hold pit for? If you have that Kona Station there, you've got that comfort to kind of anchor for a little bit longer. And pit, it's the same when you look across toward the back of kids' dorms. You've got that kind of little, you know, top left nook, and it looks like they're even going to have it right in the doorway of the B bomb site. It's just a fantastic help when, I guess, you're probably going to be taking not so much sustained fights, but more so just little bits and bobs throughout as the attack starts to open things up.
Yeah, and the other part of it as well is it can actually allow you to roam too, because you roam, you get maybe a couple of shots, you get a bit hurt, and then you come back and you get healed up as well from the Kona Station. So, yeah, it's kind of twofold in its approach, and I mean, I wouldn't say we've seen an abundance of Thunderbird, but we've definitely seen quite a bit of it. Boydie, though, nice headshot onto Oda.
Bang, bang.
Yeah, bang, bang, indeed. And that's a nice opening pick for Roflcopter, especially considering a bit of the momentum and tide has been on Bliss's side. That should help out. Now, Kaken's already inside a trophy. Jigsaw, I thought was going to get droned out, but that goes actually into Classroom instead. He ends up shooting it from behind, goes for a bit of a random nitrocell above. It just misses Kaken. He is able to escape with his life, and now he can get to work on this game's wall.
That's going to pay dividends in the end, and you know, Oda falling down. There goes the use of those evil eyes. So that's not really fantastic. This is much better from Roflcopter, right? Last time was so stunted in their approach. It was all about that vertical control. They got absolutely rinsed. Now we are seeing the full effect of what happens when you start to spread out, start to utilize the utility that you have on those hard breaches, of course, being Habana and Maverick. It allows you to open up both sides and really put the pressure back onto Team Bliss, who, for all intents and purposes, are sitting pretty comfortable back on site.
Yeah, and time's not an issue either due to the nature of dorms too. Once you've got control and get this game's wall opened up, a lot of it then is just buying time for those in Attic to eventually push through, get control of pit, and then you can get that plant down. And as you do all of that, you end up finding a lot of kills along the way. Hotshot gets one onto Todd. There was the knockdown onto Wettables, but he's going to be actually brought back up by the adrenal surge. Oh, Boydie! Shade those on another level right now. 45 seconds left, 3 versus 3.
That's so well played from Roffle there to try, well, from Boydie in particular, to try and grab the teammate up without having to, you know, commit to sticking to whatever it is, the 4 seconds. But that is so crisp and such a great moment in time. But Shade's just too quick to the answer, and so was Jigsaw. Look at this from Repix. The flank is just all over for Roflcopter. What are they going to be able to achieve right now? Kaken finding one. Boydie, that's a great shot. And now Jigsaw back on that flank. This could be it.
Kaken's low. He definitely would be backing in Jigsaw from this position. He knows where there are, but Boydie just pre-fires the doorway. I'm almost certain of it. As he comes around here, no, he doesn't actually. He just already had a quick reaction time, and Wow, that one kind of goes begging a little bit for Team Bliss because they almost brought it back courtesy of Shade. That play over towards Attic, he picked up the double. I really thought at that point, I think you even said it, what's Roffle going to be able to do from there? Well, Kakin able to find a few shots. And yeah, this is the play here from Shade inside of Attic. Even with that adrenal surge, he gets both Wettables and Hotshot.
Very, very gnarly. But honestly, this is Boydie through and through toward the end then. Essentially, you know, the 1v1, he loses that. It's round over. It's done. But that pivotal moment from Boydie, you know, very, very important to note his performance. And really, Roflcopter with a round that I'm going to say they shouldn't have had. That should have been Team Bliss through and through, but it kind of just turned into too many isolated one-on-ones. They are going to reattempt, which I love to see, making sure that they know that they can fix up any the issues that they may have had. But I think that the key point here, Xenox, is to talk about the approach that Roflcopter had in their first attack on Dorms versus their second. Polar opposite, and you know, you see it in the proof is in the pudding almost.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, again, it brings us back to the why as to how Dorms is so important, right? Like, it comes down to Dorms in a way, simply because despite the fact that attackers are getting better at laundry supply, and this is something that me and Guz sort of spoke about yesterday, and it is becoming a reality, a lot of the attackers are being able to open up this basement site, you're still kind of back in the defenders. And therefore, that's exactly what happened. You know, Bliss won laundry supply twice. They get you know, you get your site wins there. But it's Dorms where you need to actually win consistently because you're going to end up in this situation where you're playing it the most, right? This is going to be the third time we see Dorms in this first half out of 6 rounds. That's 50% of the time in the first half we're on Dorms. So if you're not winning it the majority of the times, then you're going to lose the game.
Slow and steady wins the race here for Roflcopter. Don't want to go running out into any lines of sight that, let's be honest, Bliss have been able to readily deal with. They've found themselves quite a few opening picks, but it's kind of slowed down in that last 2 rounds. Roflcopter making the most of what they've got. This could be interesting from Repix. He could come all the way through basement, and he's either got the ability to flank up main stairs, laundry, or he can go all the way to rear stage, and that could be equally as devastating. Again, it's only if Roflcopter aren't doing their due diligence on those drones.
I don't think Roflcopter really care about clearing out security down below, though, and kitchen to boot. It seems like they're pretty content with just opening up games wall, and they're making the push through attic, and then if need be, you can also push up white stairs later on in the round. Obviously, that's a little bit harder if you don't clear out security. So bot white becomes a bit more contested, which you don't really want to be contesting it with, like, say, 30 seconds left. But, oh, the timing. Boy, Oda's tilted, surely, over the these last 2 rounds.
Just outrageous. Outrageous. Just the Boydie effect, I guess. If we've got a Jigsaw effect, we've got to have a Boydie effect at this point. May not be as common as the Jigsaw, but, you know, still punching well and truly at the weight he needs to be. 2 players now making their way into attic. They're going to be careful on how they approach this. Shade again. Oh my God, he is having an absolute banger, a perler of a night, and it may just get better for him.
There is a player as well for Roffle repelling outside of kids at the moment. Nice swing from Wettables. Now they've got attic pick control. They've even got that player repelling on kids as well. 30 seconds left. They've got the man advantage. Boydie's watching. This should go the way of Roffle, but Rapix with a big kill.
That's a huge trade from Kakin though. Wettables finding more. My goodness, Todd. 1v3. No kills on the board yet. That C4 might hit the mark. It does too. Wettables goes down. Todd. Slowing his approach, needs to be careful. Boydie's going to be watching that cross. Really well played here. Finds himself into the back of a corner. Can't find the kill. That really needed to be confirmed there, because in a 2v1, Roflcopter are going to play this perfectly. They're just going to be able to take fights and back away. Oh my God, rips the head off of Boydie. Kakin is all that remains here.
Should he maybe rotate? And that question probably should have been done 5 seconds ago, because I was going to say he had 30 seconds. He ends up committing through white stairs. He is low, and he is particularly low enough that Kakin can finish it off. That was absolutely dicey, but what a way to close out the first half.
There we go. Just like that, Roflcopter have found their way back into this game. And this is what we were saying at the start, Xanox. You just can't count out Roflcopter, and I think that that was evident in the HP Omen community vote.
Yeah, split down the middle, and well, obviously the first half is split down the middle as well, 3-3, but that, you know, probably doesn't paint the picture here. I think Rofl are actually ahead. To get 3 rounds on the attack here on Oregon puts them in good stead. Obviously, now they've got to get the job done on their defense, but they are right up to this with a big opportunity to get 3 points against Team Bliss, a team that's notoriously good at best of ones through Stage 2 and even Stage 1 before that. This could, as we've already said, set them up for the entire stage, Roflcopter, and even if it doesn't, even if it maybe falls apart here in the second half, if it goes to OT, the addition of Kakin and Wettables has just quietly been probably the 2 best additions any team has had this off-season. Like, this team just looks miles better than the old iteration.
I don't know, I think Ethan in for Vast was a good decision.
Yeah, well, geez, they're definitely looking better there as well.
No, I couldn't agree more with you. I think Kakin and Wettables are both kind of slotted in just perfectly, as clean as you would have liked. And now they've got an opportunity to take down, as you said, one of the best. And to be the best, you've got to beat the best. So they are well and truly making a pretty decent stake to that claim.
So what's the play here for Team Bliss on the attack, looking at their operator lineup? They're going for your ever-lovable Capitao. Nomad as well for Oda, bit of that flank watch. They've got the Yana. They can obviously put a lot of stock into Shade because he's the only hard breacher on basement site. It's not impossible to win if he does go down, but it will put them at a bit of a hindrance. And I would say simply because he's on the Thermite, I would imagine this is eventually going to be trying to get blue bunker, pillar control, try and open up that wall maybe. That's my guess, especially with the way that they are positioning at the moment.
And one thing you've got to be careful of is Ella, right? Like, it's not very often that we actually get to see Ella played, but down in the basement, down here is... What? Not Christmas. Confuse the crap out of me then. But no, seriously, it is such a dangerous piece of utility. I think they'll be aware of it now, but it is just one of those things that can catch you off guard. And even if it doesn't, the last couple of seconds, oh my god. I'm just going to shut up because Repix is going to open up the round. And further than that, Bliss are going to continue to push. They've now got elbow control. This is so dangerous. Oh my god. Bliss, as clean as you like it.
Well, I wanted to say that this almost had the makeup of a bit of a rush, and it ended up playing out that way. Now, you don't have to necessarily, to have a rush, it doesn't have to be in the first 30 seconds, Rob, but it's the act of the play style of it, and that's basically what Bliss have done. They've played off the line, the Capitao as well to deny a lot of the area. This Jigsaw gets the kill onto Hotshot after he got Shade. Nice little trade. OJ left over at backstairs. They know where he is now. They've got the information. Bliss have got site control. They'll get the diffuser down. This was executed perfectly, and you can see it with the operator lineup. You rush in, then you've got the Nomad as well for that flank watch once you're on site. This is perfectly played from Team Bliss.
Bit of a showcase from a team that we talk about as being heavy fraggers. Repix, Jigsaw, and now apparently Shade, who's making his own claim. But definitely looking as clean as ever on the old sticks. And this is nothing but good signs if you're a Bliss fan, which I'm sure there's many of them out there. This may be the start of a dominant half on their attack. And I guess for me, really keen to see how Rofl adapt to this and how they try to tame Bliss. Because I think that's probably been the conversation for the last 2 stages, is how do you tame Bliss, right? It's all good and well to play them and to have a close game, but there is something about them that is just unattainable. It is so hard to control, and Roflcopter are going to have to do so here on their defense.
Well, the thing is, are they going to be able to repeat, right? This is more so about Bliss rather than Roflcopter. Because for Roflcopter, it's pretty easy, right? Maybe you make elbow that little bit more difficult. You can see the Sawyer gate as well and that blue bunker doorway. So you're obviously going to commit a little bit more utility here. You're going to know that, okay, this is probably what they're going to want to try and do again. But if I'm Team Bliss, I actually say, all right, we've got the same lineup. but why don't we go from, like, say, Laundry, for instance, or go from a different sort of angle of attack, a different sort of approach, try and overwhelm a site, maybe even try and fake another blue bunker rush, but actually then come in from, say, Freezer or something like that. That's what I'm going to be looking at here. Or they could just try and do it again. If they do that, though, I think that's a little silly, right? Because you've already done it once. It's hard to surprise them again 2 rounds in a row.
But in saying that, is it what they expect? Maybe expect the unexpected, mate. I'm telling you, there's something to this idea. There is this beautiful
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yep. Fool me 3 times.
Well, we'll see if it plays out that way. If it does mean, though, that I don't think Bliss are going to do too much else elsewhere, which does give Roffle the indication that they then will actually be trying to do this rush through blue bunker again. So technically, Bliss, by doing nothing, are actually giving Roffle quite a lot of information.
Oh, that's such a gnarly play from Jigsaw. Just on the cheeky little beam all the way through to pit. I think I've really seen that many times before, but certainly nice to take into your casual and ranked matches. I've already noted that one down. Now, it's all about Roflcopter. How are they going to be holding this against an ever-aggressive Bliss?
So they've left this wall soft this time. I swear they double Rio'd last time, but this time by keeping it soft, you can peek over towards blue bunker a little easier. I could be wrong. Maybe I just missed it in the previous round. I was also going to say a little bit more emphasis from Bliss.
Last round, by the way.
Okay, cool. I was going to say a little bit more emphasis from Bliss, though, above, but not for too long. It already seems like they're going to want to go for this rush. The only difference here will be the fact that Roflcopter have already given up elbow. They're not going to lose a player this time, right? Last round they lost a player. That then meant Roffle were playing from behind.
Now, they will start to make their approach to the site, start to span out a little bit more, take space around pillar. That starts to suffocate Roflcopter at the backside of Laundry. All 4 players are pretty much stuck back there. I'm sure there's one flanking around somewhere. Unreal C4 from Boydie, and that should kickstart things. I mean, Wettables is down, but not for much longer. My God, Boydie is just a one-man army right now. Oda will shut him down, but that trade from OJ is so damn gnarly. This is just falling to pieces for Bliss, as Repix is the only one alone.
Yeah, and it's the downside to this sort of attack from Bliss. It's so one-dimensional. They don't have to worry about anyone coming from Freezer. They don't have to worry about anyone coming from Laundry. You know what they're doing is what they did in the last round, so play off of that information. That makes what Boydie did with the Nitrocell possible. He knows where they're going to be. That's why he's able to find a kill with it, and then from there, Roflcopter can play off of that. Full credit to Roffle, but I do question Bliss trying to do it 2 times in a row. It just didn't work out. Roffle saw it coming. They closed off elbow immediately, kept their player alive, and therefore Bliss couldn't actually sort of snowball the round the way they did in the prior round.
You know, there's always 2 points to that talking, isn't there? Like to that talking point. My God, I'm really starting to lose it now. But you know, the fact is, if they manage to win that, that is completely demoralizing for Roflcopter. You end up 5-3. Not only that, then Roflcopter start questioning themselves. And if you lose it, you kind of just move on to the next site. So, you know, I always like to play a little bit of devil's advocate, especially with you, Xenox, you know? Like to put a little pin in the backside of you. But at the end of the day, not this site necessarily, but how Bliss find these rounds on their attack are going to be incredibly crucial. The fact that they've already started off with 1 basement attack, I think sets them up with good stead.
Yeah, obviously. Dorms is susceptible to attacks, probably a little bit better than some of the other sites, at least until teams sort of figure out Laundry supply on a more consistent basis, but this is obviously going to set the tone again. I know we kind of repeat it over and over again, and there's a reason for it. It's just the fact that the stats kind of back it up, and we'll see whether or not Bliss and how, I was going to say, I'm very curious to see how Bliss are going to try and take this. Whether they're going to try and get the security control and kitchen control a little bit earlier so that they can use white stairs, or if they're just going to play it the same way as Bliss did, Roffle did. Games, wall, and attic.
Now, it's like a pretty default setup, taking control of well, Jigsaw didn't know you could go through walls. You know, taking into that bedroom control, forcing back the player in trophy, that then allows you into closet to open up that wall and put pressure into games. However, it is proving a little bit more difficult than maybe they had originally anticipated. Just like that, Jigsaw's going to start to take control. I really like the use of this unreinforced wall toward pit. That's going to make Jigsaw's job so much more difficult.
Yeah, and especially considering you're not going to be using that little corner to sit in to defend Attic, for instance, either, right? So the position that you're holding in that pit spot, you're able to now watch Attic and obviously watch through that doorway. So it's a two-pronged attack. OJ, I think, is going to get caught here. Oh, the timing. As he got droned as well, Oda was literally just moments away from maybe finding the opening pick, but OJ's able to sort of fall off there. And now they can get to work on pushing through Attic. Minute 20 on the clock, keep an eye on that. It's going to be crucial.
All right, got a decent spread right now. We've still got a player in toward pit. Bliss starting to mount their attack across into trophy, bedroom, closet, games. We surely will have at least one player looking to push from a different angle, but for now, it is a lot of their attention. Repix finding the kill onto Wettables. Roflcopter is starting to get suffocated on site.
Yeah, that's now Pit with no player in it for Roflcopter. Of course, you've still got the player holding inside of Kids, watching now with that shield. Hotshot's able to get the kill onto Repix. Still man advantage though for Team Bliss. 40 seconds left, but that push is now eventuating.
Oh, I think Shay just found Hotshot through the smoke. Jigsaw's going to hard hold. He actually pulls off for just a second. They're starting to gain the control that they need, and just like that, convincing round from Bliss. Just what we wanted to see. And Roflcopter now, they're left with a decision. Are they going to go back, or are they going to go to reattempt a different site?
Yeah, Dorms right now, I'm pretty sure it's a 50-50 split. Yeah, it is. It's now 2-2 between the two teams on Dorms. So by heading back to it, you're still kind of backing yourselves in because it's only a 50% split. So it's not as if they're getting beaten on this site extensively. If anything, Laundry Supply has probably been in favor of Bliss more so than Roflcopter. On top of that, they can't go back there yet, and I'm not sure how comfortable they would be going down to, say, kitchen meeting. I don't think they would attempt kitchen dining. So Dorms is definitely the play. Repeat it again. You lose this, then you go back Laundry Supply.
All right. Small little break is over for me. Take a little quick breather when you can, Xenox, you know. The oxygen as much as you can, but I am impressed with Bliss's ability to deal with that flank as well. It's, you know, half of the game right now, especially in the earlier rounds, is having the ability to, as a team, live drone and ensure that those flanks aren't going to be coming through. The roams are cleared out effectively. So far, Bliss have been really good at kind of forcing Roflcopter back to site. Now, it's when it kind of comes down to that 4v4, 3v3 area that Roflcopter, you know, a hit and miss. So it's working for Bliss, but certainly their early rounds have been phenomenal.
And the pressure, though, starts to mount as well on Roffle too, right? And how they're going to be able to deal with that is paramount. There's a ping here, so Repix, he gets a little bit impatient, I think. Obviously not expecting that player from Roffle to probably peek that. Now he can use the Gemini to get a little bit more information through bedroom. EE1D goes out. That is a weird bug.
Yep.
Man was floating through the roof.
Yeah, twice now. It's just, I think it's just as the...
It must be that one window or something.
As the observer swaps. Devastating. Absolutely devastating. Twice in a row. But, again, important to note, within 2 minutes, they've been able to take control of bedroom and force back the players in trophy. Now, how long that remains, we'll see whether it's more effective this time around for Roflcopter with that player in pit, but it's so important that they do put the pressure. It's actually reinforced now, so they're not going to be able to play through that, but it also means they're more defended in that pit attic area, and they've actually shoved a whole lot of utility there as well, Xenox.
Yeah, and Boydie, obviously, the way he's sort of positioned is looking for that trade on Wettables if he does get eliminated by, say, Jigsaw, for instance. Don't think it's going to happen, though, not at least just yet. Minute 20 remaining on the clock, but Roflcopter certainly positioned a little bit better than the prior round, and obviously still going for a pretty similar strategy. In Bliss, though, that plays into their hands because they kind of know what they need to do here.
Oda just finding the time as OJ is coming around the corner as he has to be a drone on him. There has to be some kind of information that there is. Oda's hard watching the line. OJ a little bit lucky that he was kind of crouching around the corner, crab walking, if you will. Keeps his life intact. Now with those smokes starting to play effect, Shade's got to be careful from Pit, and this is where things get interesting. The dynamic of not finding that pick now opens things up for Roflcopter.
There's no attic, there's no big window, there's no white stairs though, so this is just going to be a swarm onto site here for Team Bliss.
It's exactly what it is, mate, and it's an absolute bloodbath in the favour of Roflcopter. Can they find the trades? Oda and Jigsaw come together to find two, just like that. A 2 versus 2. Hot shot now holding backwards as OJ is caught on sight. Jigsaw, what can he get done? He's got to try to isolate the ones. He's going to find at least the first kill. That's OJ falling down. Hot shot stands strong, and Jigsaw crosses unaware of his position.
For some reason, I thought he knew that he was at the top of white stairs. The way he was sort of running over there, beelining obviously for the diffuser, but for that brief second in time, Rob, I'm sitting back like, oh, he knows he's there. He's just going to swing him, but obviously had no idea. Yeah, I was a little bit late to catch on to sort of what was happening, but nothing really from Big Window, nothing from Attic, and obviously didn't have white stairs control at all. So it ended up just being that sort of swarm onto site, which is obviously going to always factor in as being a positive for Roflcopter, and boy did they play off of that perfectly. And this has kind of turned into a little bit of a back and forth since basically the last round of the first half. It's 5-5 now, and whoever gets this next round, it's match point.
Do I dare say a barn burner, my friend? Do I dare say it? Is it going to light the barn on fire? Or more accurately, the shed in Australia. It's certainly turning out to be one of the better matches. And after our earlier games this evening, I am very much welcoming this with open arms. Of course, for those of you who weren't here earlier on, we saw a bit of a shellacking in game 1 and 2. We saw Wildcard defeat Order 7-2 and Chiefs defeating Knight 7-1. It wasn't even the fact that that was the scoreline. It was the way that both of those teams did it. Absolute insanity, I will say that much. And of course, you know what, while I'm doing a recap, just to top things off, Overt with their first 3 points on the board, taking down Rhythm in a 7-5 matchup. So, been a bit of a strange night, Xenox. We've had 2 stomps and 2 very close games.
Yeah, probably expected at least 2 close games, but the other 2 stomps were the surprising ones, to be honest. I was kind of expecting maybe 4 close games, but nonetheless. Now, if Roflcopter do win this game from here and get all 3 points, they will not be in first place. They'll be still in second, which is where they currently are. But if Team Bliss win, they will also take that second spot. At the moment, Chiefs with the round differential being the separator. I know it's all fancy talk considering it's only Playday 2, but still, it's always fun to have a look and see which teams are pulling ahead early and which teams are maybe lagging behind.
Yep. This is dangerous from OJ. Does he have any pre-prepped melee holes or anything? I think he's just playing, yeah, it's just completely solid. So, I mean, hey, that flank could be absolutely disgusting if it was pre-prepped or if there was an ability. Yes, he can punch his way through that position, and he can also fight the players down in meeting if that's what they decide to go for. Oh, hello, Bliss.
Depends on how much information he can get, even when they're inside a meeting as well, because that hatch is obviously still closed. Kaken does not get the down there into Jigsaw. Now, he doesn't go for the Rio.
Kaken, run!
I was going to say he doesn't go for the Rio. Now he does. Yeah, he will be. Will he? Yeah.
Rio?
No?
Hello? What? They've got no Rios left. Oh, what's happened here? Oh, they've got no Rios left.
No! Oh, we're sitting here puzzled.
No way!
They can still play off of this. Obviously, they know that that is still going to be soft, and it's an entry point, so Boydie has to hold it close. But I have never seen this before.
No.
Someone's made a boo-boo.
someone's either made a boo-boo or they're playing into it. I don't know. They're playing a lot from the back of laundry and supply room, so they might be able to try and cut that off and just force them down the line of electric, which I guess paid dividends the last time. They've only got one C4 to try and deny the plant. And look at this from OJ. He's trying to find the timing, but he's going to be caught by Oda. We said that it wasn't pre-placed, it wasn't pre-prepped, it was going to be too hard, and that it was. Boydie now holds firm. What can the 4 players do on site?
Boydie's got to be careful because he can get swung from elbow and from pillar now. So he's in a bit of a predicament. I think he's almost tempted to actually push through elbow. Gets a bit of information with that peek, but so does Todd. It goes both ways. 15 seconds left, Rob.
Yeah, the plant's coming in. Shade is all but safe as houses. Oh no, he's not! Cake in, my goodness, nearly finds a double, but Hotshot will be caught. And Bliss, my goodness, they punish any little mistake.
Wow. I would definitely love to know if that was pre-planned. I highly doubt it, simply because we don't really see that happen too often. We know that it's pretty stock standard that you're going to go back and you're going to Rio elbow off once you get pushed out of it. And I think for a brief second, we might have seen Kaken kind of go back to it and then run away from it. So it seems like,
too.
Yeah, it seemed like he wanted to Rio it and they've gone, whoopsie, we've made a mistake. Bit of a tech pause, I think, here coming for Roflcopter. Perfectly timed. They definitely need it off the back of what just sort of transpired there. It's hard to speculate, Rob. Was it sort of a comms issue or was it just simply a mistake? But nonetheless, Bliss with match point.
I'd like to know what Boyd is leaving for. Obviously, must be game-related issue. But nevertheless, it comes at a convenient time because if that was a mistake, right? That gives them the ability to go, what the hell did we just do, right? Okay, so we've just got confirmation. It's a HUD bug. Now, regardless of the timing of that, that does give them the ability to talk about this because that is a huge mistake that has been made.
Yeah, I would definitely actually like to ask Vast. I'm not sure if he's here with us or not. I feel like a psychic medium trying to talk to the dead. Vast, are you with us? But like, you know, I've never seen it before. Maybe Vast could, you know, provide insight if we can get him, which apparently he is here. Vast, have you ever seen that done on purpose before, or are you going to agree with us that it was an oopsie?
Yeah, I think it was a mistake. It seems like their setup was based around falling off and reinforcing that. It just seemed like not reinforcing that rotation allowed Bliss to just go for the plant straight away.
Yikes. That's a feels bad. How have you felt so far, Vast? I know we're probably going to talk about this more in depth as the game is almost at its conclusion. But headed into this last round of regulation, how have you been feeling about this game overall? It's been very back and forth.
Yep. It's been very back and forth. It's hard to say who is going to come out on top. Small mistakes like that, Ruffle can't really be making right now.
Yeah.
Because it will give Bliss the lead. This next round is, I think, they'll probably go to kids' dorms or something like that, kids' dorms. I think Ruffle have a good chance on winning that. They've been playing it quite well.
And I mean, look, if you were to make a bold statement, we going to OT or not?
I think we're going to OT. I'm still confident in the 8-6 for Bliss.
Yep. Okay, that's fair enough. Any final thoughts before you leave us, my friend?
Yeah, I just think Ruffle, they are wanting to play these power positions, util, crossfires. I think Bliss will catch on. I think Bliss will, they seem like the more aggressive team, the team that's kind of dictating the game a bit more. Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're actually in a little bit more of a rehost than what we thought. We're just going to see him hop back in, but it is going to be a full rehost. So Xenox, join the conversation again, my friend. Are you happy with how we've seen Roflcopter bounce back in some of these rounds?
Well, it's been back and forth, right? I mean, obviously, we're just sort of off the back of a Bliss win, but literally since the last round of the first half, it's gone Ruffle, Bliss, Ruffle, Bliss, Ruffle, Bliss, and so therefore you would kind of expect Ruffle to then take the next one and keep that trend going. But there's always, I guess, a different mental aspect. Maybe Bass would actually be the one to sort of confirm it, but when you're down to match point, is there any sort of difference in the way that you're feeling going into that round, say, compared to a 5-5 kind of round?
Depends the team, how good their mental is. if you have a good mental, then it shouldn't impact you. You shouldn't really even realize that it's on match point. I know that, you know, there'd be a lot of games where I just kind of forget that you're even on match point, and I know a lot of players have said the same. But, you know, that whole not reinforcing that rotation could have really tilted them. I think right now they do have a break, which is good for them to kind of reset and kind of forget about the last round.
That's fair enough. It's I find this game to have been incredibly interesting in the fact that it has gone back and forth, because I guess I probably expected Bliss to be running away with this a little bit more. How have you felt like Kakin and Wittables have kind of slotted in at the moment? Because in this game in particular, I think it's kind of highlighted how this team's come together so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, they don't look like they're struggling. You know, it is a tough game, so you know, they're not doing as well as maybe they did yesterday. But no, I still think all of Rofl's doing really well. Like they're playing well together.
Yeah.
You can see that they're holding the crossfires. You can, you know, see that they are communicating with each other.
That's fair enough. Xenox, my friend. This is well, there's only so many ways you can
refrain how the match is going.
No, seriously, there is only so many ways, I guess. Actually, you know what? One thing I am surprised about is how well Shade's been playing. He has,
he's been good.
Not to knock Shade as a player, but he's really popping off this game.
Well, we said it yesterday because yesterday was Oda's day, right?
Yep.
And one thing that I mentioned was that that's the benefit of this Bliss lineup, is that any of these players can all have their kind of day. If it's not Jigsaw, it's Repix. If it's not Repix, it's Oda. If it's not Oda, it's Shade. If it's not Shade, it's Todd. So that's what makes them such a formidable lineup as a team across all 5 spots. Whether it's support, whether it's hard bridge, whatever it's frag, it doesn't really make a difference on this team. These guys are all nutty. But the other thing as well, fun fact, and this will probably cast a cursor, but if this ends up being a 7-5 victory, that'll be our 4th 7-5 in the first 2 playdays with no OTs. So it's been a bit of a curse so far for stage 3. We haven't had a single overtime. I'm kind of expecting Rofl to break that. It's time to break the curse, time to get us into an OT, which would then get us away from everyone being on either 3 points or no points or 6 points.
Actually, speaking of, you know, the implications of OT and the point distribution, Vas, like, you know, as a player, you got to kind of, you know, experience that over the past 2 stages. How have you felt that was like integrated? Did you find that it was a good way to reward teams for either being able to bring it back and still not winning, or how did you feel like it affected the league?
I don't really know too much. Like it was something that I didn't really think about. I guess it does reward the teams that do get more convincing wins, are more dominant. If you're going to, you know, OT every single game, then, you know, you're not getting maximum points. So I guess it does put an emphasis to be more dominant, I guess.
Yep. And there's a couple of teams I'm sure that be happy to utilize that. Now, Vas, we'll let you go. We've used up all your talking points, so I can't wait for this desk afterwards. But we will chat to you in just a little bit, mate. Thank you once again for joining us. Xenox, we are going back to basement, actually. We're not going to be seeing the Dorms defense. Vas was just trying to, you know, theorize on what we might be able to see there. Now, one massive change that's just come into this roster for RoflCopter is the Warden. Now, with the way that Bliss were kind of utilizing those smokes, cutting off the lines of sight from, let's say, things like Freezer and the long haul, this could actually turn the tide of this fight.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no smokes, never mind. But there are flashes.
Well, one thing to keep an eye on is the top left corner, more than anything. How many reinforcements Rofl have got? They're sitting on 2, now they're sitting on 1. They need to keep it at 1. I'm sure that call has gone out. No more. Let's make sure Kakin can get back from elbow onto site and Rio off, and that looks like that's going to be the play here. So obviously already going to be better off here for Rofl. But Laundry Supply is a site, Rob, that has, over the last few months, gotten a little bit better for the attackers and being able to take it. We did see Bliss defend it really well, and obviously most teams, I think, are still going to defend it really well. But just slowly, as we see it more and more, and we've seen a lot of Oregon, teams are working it out on the attack quite a bit better.
It's just the nature of the beast, I guess. The more it's played, the more it's played. It's a pretty simple equation.
Well, the more it's played, the better that you're going to get at it in terms of breaking it down.
Spot on.
Yeah.
And there we go. Finally, the pre-prepped hole from OJ that we were talking about in that previous round. The one thing that kind of punished them a little bit was OJ dying trying to rotate to the back of rear stage unnoticed. Fortunately enough, Bliss were quite active in doing so. Once again, a lot of presence toward the blue area. Now, I do find it really funny because this was, you know, if you think about the old meta, we saw this so often. Teams just flushing all their utility to force this player back, but you know, it's not so much happening nowadays. However, it still is impactful, once you take control.
Yeah, and obviously one thing to note here is the Thatcher, right? We don't see Thatcher make it through too often, typically banned out, and so this is going to make opening up elbow very easy. Minute and a half. I think if Rofl win this, it's going to be through Boydie on the Warden, and because at some point Bliss are going to throw everything in and swarm the site. They'll need him to be able to see through everything being thrown at them and find a few kills.
Really like the decision just to leave that murder hole for Todd to play around now.
Yeah.
You know, obviously destroying that second Selma that pops down, it makes sure that you can't vault through it. It's not low, so you can't prone through it. It's just a fantastic area to try and contest the player who's looking to impact from freezer or even down the corridor. It just cuts off the entire half site. Now, how many pieces of util can they deny with? They've still got 3 smoke babes, they've got the C4, so they've still got a bit to use now before they have to throw bodies at it, but they've got to be so careful.
I think there's one downside to it, and it's probably not that big of a downside, but it does mean that Rofl know no one's really going to be able to swing out of the elbow position, so that may as well still be completely re-aired off.
Good decision. Again, it's all about how long you can bait for. Oh, that's really cheeky from Shade, but had they found the timing on that second smoke babe, is the damage being done? It's not being stuck, so he must have run away from it. Actually, was Shade just killed then? Am I just going crazy?
Yeah, Shade's dead. Shade's dead.
Jeez, okay, so that's not good, Xenox. This is really detrimental to this push.
They need to rush right now, and that's exactly what they're going to do with the E1D, but RoflCopter have just opened them up with a firing squadron. The round's over, and we're heading OT.
Hot damn. How convincing was that? I did not even see the kill feed on Shade. I just assumed that he'd been able to get away with that diffuser, but this is the problem, right? You've still got that line from Freezer that you can try and take fights on that aren't necessarily hard forcing the line from the blue elbow. You've still got so many pieces of util left that RoflCopter used to absolute perfection, might I add. The smokes and the C4 that never needed to be used. Well, it's just beautiful.
I think the biggest detriment for that sort of push is that the player in Freezer has absolutely nothing to worry about behind it because no push is coming. If you at least send 1 or 2 over, try and clear out Freezer a little bit, put some pressure there, try and force him out of Freezer at some point, whether you kill him or just force him over to, say, Laundry or Site. Do something to maybe try and pinch that player out, and then you can get maybe a little bit more comfortable there. I guess, obviously, yeah, you got the player in elbow watching it, but you can still find an angle from Freezer towards that pillar side without technically peeking the guy over at elbow. I just think that Rofl had pretty much no pressure on them at all. Either way, we go to dorms now, we head to OT.
Yeah. Good whipping. RoflCopter have risen to the top. And now there's an uneven balance of points. Got to be decided here. Each have 1 at the moment, and it will also kind of ensure that the balance of the ladder is a little bit skewed here, Xenox.
Yeah, and it also means Chiefs will be the only team on 6 points, so they'll be sole top spot, which is awesome to see for the back-to-back OCN champions in their rightful spot. It does mean, because now we're into OT, both Rofl and Bliss will get 1 point each, which does mean our top 3 actually stays as Chiefs, Rofl, and then Bliss, which is nice for now, at least 2 play days in. And who knows, 1 point can be a big difference maker when it comes down to, you know, play day 7, for the good or for the worse, right? Like, maybe you sit back and this could be something that either of these 2 teams will look back and say, oh, if we had have actually got the 3 points, or if we had have got the 2 points, we would have made it over. Or it could be, hey, we got that 1 extra point, that got us through to the playoffs.
Yeah, well, I mean, you want to talk about that. You look at Wildcard as an example, 9 points, and also LFO, both on 9 points last stage, and the limit was 10 points. RoflCopter and Knights scraped through to playoffs into the gauntlet on 10 points. That is the difference, right? We are talking about one overtime win or loss, the difference between making sure you get all 3 points and just having 2 points, it is a huge impact at the end of the day. So, you know, by all means, you really can't afford to let points roll, especially when it is coming into stage 3 and you're trying to secure things. Epics nerves getting to the best of us.
And this is where I kind of go back to when we were filling for that HUD bug. This has been back and forth literally since the first half, 1-for-1. Now it's time for Bliss. If Roffle win this round, they break that streak, then they go on the attack themselves. Minute and a half remaining, and Team Bliss getting a little antsy here and looking like they still want to bring that sort of forward aggression that we saw from basement, but now up to dorms with the Lion, the Capitao, and the Nomad sort of lineup.
Already on somewhat of an adventure. Not really going to have too much of an impact until Bliss do start to push. Now, it's up to him whether he decides he wants to continue flanking or whether he will just fall back. But Bliss look like they're ready to go, and they're just going to send it in. So they've got the smoke to do so. Repix can't find the kill. Incredible from Wettables to stand strong on both players. And that should pretty much be it for Bliss. They are getting absolutely massacred right now.
Well, it's because of the way they're playing it. No pressure from Attic, no pressure from White Stairs, no pressure from Window. I mean, this is as one-dimensional as it can be.
Oh my god!
I'm sure, I literally know Vast is sitting there shaking his head right now at that attack, because that was not great. That was strange. Roffle literally just sat on site and just watched them walk in one by one.
Taking a town. I feel like if that's going to happen, you know, like I saw a smoke come out toward games to kind of nullify the player in White Stairs, but the smoke could easily have been used for Attic as well to put the pressure there. There's just so many pieces of that puzzle that just don't fit, and I'm sure Bliss will be sitting there thinking that is an opportunity that's gone absolutely begging. Also, remember, it is getting late, you know.
That is true.
I'm not going to say...
We are approaching midnight.
Yeah. I'm not trying to make excuses or anything like that. I don't know everyone's situations at home. I don't know who, you know, wakes up early, who's got work, etc., etc. But it is getting to the later part of the night on a Saturday night, so I'm sure that that's starting to impact some of the decisions that are being made. But I would back you up there. You know, I generally try to stray away from those kind of conversations, but certainly big questions have to be asked from Bliss's decision, as this is overtime. This is the big moneymaker right here. You need that start so that you've got that room to breathe in the later rounds. But having said that, Xenox, they do go to their defense, so a little bit of hope still.
Team Bliss, the last time they lost to a team in a best-of-1 not named the Chiefs was the 12th of April. It was against the Knights in Stage 1 of OCN. It was a 7-4 loss on Clubhouse. That was obviously a long time ago. The last time they actually did lose to any team besides the Chiefs, it was actually Roflcopter in the Stage 1 playoffs. And so Vast said there was history between these two teams. There certainly has been. And well, this continues that sort of history, doesn't it, with another big match between Roffle and Bliss. Right now, shaping up, it may go the way of Roffle yet again.
Imagine that. Imagine that. Now,
also, I hate to say it, but there was another title that Bliss may have lost in today, so it's not going to be a good day if Bliss lose this one as well.
What do you mean other title?
It was another Rainbow Six title. I don't know.
There's no other title. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. You've lost the plot here.
There's no other games that exist. That's right, I forgot.
No. Come on, man. You got to know these things. Well, certainly someone who has to know these things is Bliss, because they are struggle city right now. This is an incredible chance. They are on the defense in the most favored position, on the most favored site. I would say nearly of any site across the competitive pool right now. They just need to push this to a 15th round.
Slow and steady wins the race right now for Roffle, and you can maybe take a little bit into what they're going to do this round, and you can then apply that and see the difference between them and Bliss. Just that tiny little bit more of a presence, say, over towards Freezer, just keeps that thought in the back of the mind of Repix. You can just see it, even the way that he's positioning himself right now. But outside of that, it's probably still going to be pretty stock standard, pretty simple. It's switch up the Rio actually between the two teams, left side versus right side. That's one noticeable little difference right now. But a minute left, and Rofl haven't achieved too much though, to be fair.
I guess that's something that they can hold on to. And also, you know, something to note, only 2 drones left for RoflCopter. So they're going to be going into this absolutely blind. Yes, they do have the use of the Gemini, but, you know, is it going to be enough? Is that going to be enough to give them the information? Todd has not been flushed out of blue either. He's still got smokes left in his pocket. And things just continue to get a little bit worse here for RoflCopter. 30 seconds.
Oh, big damage onto Kaken as well. He's looking to try and get this plant. Shade's going to try and cut him off, and it looks like that might be successful, Rob.
Just getting out alive for now. Team Bliss looking to send us to yet another round. They've doubled up in toward blue. It's falling apart for RoflCopter. They're getting absolutely picked to pieces. And that should be it. It's Wettables left in a 1 versus 5. I can't even get the words out of my mouth. And Bliss have forced us to the 15th round.
Well, we said tonight was going to be action-packed in these matches, and we've saved the best until last. We go to the 15th. It's 7-7. One of these two teams will walk away with 2 points and the victory. The other, just the 1 point and the loss. Team Bliss will be on the attack. Rofl on the defense. We head back downstairs to basement. Obviously can't go dorms. This definitely is going to work out, I think, in favor of Bliss. They've had more success down in basement, more so than RoflCopter. That's not to say that Rofl haven't defended it. They obviously did so in that final round of regulation, but if I had to pick a team to favor, to back Manic, it would probably be Team Bliss.
Boydie once again on the Warden, and they've also got the Mirror this time around. I think that's the 2 big changes. Obviously, Boydie brought that in the last round of regulation to force this to OT. Now, keeping in mind, that was actually a flawless round. Bliss got absolutely torn to shreds. There was nothing left of them afterwards. Like a good family dinner on a bloody Sunday night with a roast pork sitting there, mate. It was nothing left.
Salivating.
I know, don't do it to me. Don't do it to
You're
me.
doing it to me.
I know, but I'm doing it to myself as well. But in all honesty, this, you know, as much as I would favour Team Bliss in this situation, the way that RoflCopter closed out regulation does concern me a little bit. Oh, I like this.
What concerns me the most is that both teams still have their tactical timeouts, which now can't be used because we're in the final round. It's an interesting one. In fairness, because it has been so back and forth, it's not really that, like, no team was ever, like, you know, lost 3 rounds in a row or in some weird spot. It was a pretty even affair. I don't think there was a point ever where you were like, oh, we should have taken a tactical timeout. Maybe you would look at like Rofl when they were down match point, but they ended up winning the round anyway.
They did. There was the HUD bug, I guess, that gave them the opportunity to have a quick chat. So, you know, potato kind of thing. This really does come down to the approach that Team Bliss take. Last time you criticised them for their one-dimensional attack, and has anything changed? That's the question.
Well, you don't really expect too much. The main thing here is the mirror obviously coming in from Hot Shot and using that over towards Elbow. That's something that has been a bit different. Shade as well on the Ace. There's a slight little change up here for Team Bliss. So off of the Thermite onto the Ace. They do lose those smokes. Minute and a half. Boydie, though, has just taken a big chunk of damage, by the way, in supply. That's not ideal. Another EE1D is going to be deployed. Only 1 left now for Jigsaw.
I like this. You can see how actively Team Bliss are droning this. You could see 2 drones that have gone either side of Pillow. Oh my goodness, I'm about to hit the pillow, I tell you what. Pillar, and 1 toward the Elbow. With 1:10 left on the clock, they've got so much time to work with here, Team Bliss. This is where we need to see that next level kind of come out, and that's fantastic from Todd to go ahead and ensure that that mirror window has no effect.
It's under a minute left. There's been a bit of tit for tat from both teams. Of course, Todd's taking damage. Boydie, they've still got to get him out of freezer. He's got that shield as well. But it seems like pillar control has been established for Bliss. Blue bunker. Wettables, though, over towards meeting along with OJ. This is a thorn in the side of Bliss, and they don't know it yet, Rob.
Oh,
Now they do.
Wettables! Goodness me, that's so lucky he gets that information, but bang! It just goes. Bliss go ahead and absolutely demolish Roflcopter. Wettables and Hotshot looking to retake, clawing back anything they can, but it's into the open arms, open jaws of Jigsaw, and he might as well just take a chunk. It's shade to close things out, but Team Bliss, they pulled through in the end, and they win in overtime.
Talk about match of the night, probably match of the stage so far. Team Bliss edge it out. They win yet another best of one. They keep that streak going alive and well. Unfortunately for Rofl, just falling short, Rob, but they don't lose any admirers. They played amazing, and both of these two teams, I think, are going to have a very good stage 3.
I would agree with you. You know what's funny? I'm looking at the teams right now, and you know, the teams that we're really talking about, where we're like, what on earth is going on, is Order and Knights. Bliss looked good. Overt looked good. Roflcopter looked good. Hell, even Rhythm looked good. This is really going to turn out to be one of those stages where it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to come down to that 1 point here that was lost for Roflcopter. It's going to come down to the fact that, you know, maybe Bliss had that opportunity to take all 3 points and they weren't able to. Vast, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed watching that matchup. You got to see 4 more rounds before coming back to have a chat with us now. So, any thoughts have changed since then?
Yes. It was kind of going pretty back and forth, even towards the end. I think the final round, though, I honestly just think Rofl made a poor decision to flank in the end. Bliss, you know, they've been bringing Nomad throughout the entire game. They've showed that, you know, they are holding flanks. I think Rofl probably should have stuck to just all sticking on site, holding the crossfires. Yeah, they had the hatch Rio'd, and it just didn't seem like the right decision to have that many people flanking.
Yeah. Ultimately, that one decision could be the deal breaker for them there. Outside of that, what are you thinking of Bliss? You know, did we expect them to perform a little bit better here, Vast?
Yeah, I mean, they're Oregon. I mean, they kind of played to their game plan. There was still, you know, a few aggressive moments where they had some really good coordination on their attacks, but yeah, it's hard to say because, you know, I was kind of picking apart a lot of kind of small errors that Rofl were able to capitalize on.
Yep. Any errors you want to talk about in specific? Name and shame?
I think more so, like maybe the op lineup were the op lineups were pretty weird for both teams. I think as well Bliss sometimes were like funneling too much and kind of not spreading out a bit.
Yep, that's fair enough. Xenox, looking at the scoreboard right now, anything sticking out?
Not really. The only thing I will say, considering this was an 8-7, you can actually see the stats on the side of Team Bliss are almost the kind of stats you would expect in a sort of one-sided affair, but that's mainly just Jigsaw, Repix, and Shade, and that's not really too surprising. Thing to note as well, that's the first time Roflcopter have lost on Oregon this calendar year.
There you go. And Boydie also with the +5, you know. There are some takeaways for Roflcopter, no doubt, but I mean, that's a pretty crazy result, all things considered. You know, how it played out with the back and forth game, I think is quite telling as to how close this was. I think anyone would look at this game, you know, again, you look at the results from tonight, and sometimes in Siege, it's not really reflective of the scoreboard, but I think tonight has been well and truly across the board, Vast. You know, it's been indicative of how the teams have performed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would agree. Not really much else to say. Like, it was, you know, it was a tough loss for Rofl. You know, making that small mistake in the end just costed them the whole game. They played really well. You know, they were synergizing really well, coordinating really well. I really liked their attacks in particular. Like, you could see what their goals were. They were kind of working through their checklist. to ultimately, you know, accomplish their goal. I think when they weren't kind of dying early to Bliss's aggression, yeah, their attacks looked really good.
Yep, pretty strong. There's no doubt about it. But we got Oda standing in the rafters, if you will, back behind the curtain. Let's unveil it and welcoming the absolute mad lad. Congratulations on the victory, mate. Look, I'm going to keep my question relatively simple and easy for you to answer. Did you expect Rofl to push you that far?
Nah, not really, to be honest. I expected us to, you know, pretty much slam them, but they actually bring a good fight to us, and it was actually a good match.
I have to ask, obviously, you could have a pessimist that sits back and say, oh, Bliss aren't quite demolishing teams the way they did in Stage 2, but I would actually say this actually might make you guys even better, right? A little bit of adversity, yet you're still pulling through in the regular stage. Do you think that this is exactly what maybe you guys need? A bit more of these sort of closer matches heading towards what will be most likely another playoffs performance?
I think we do. Every time we play Oregon, it comes down to like an OT 7-7, and then just whatever team wins the last round wins the game. So it just shows our weaker maps and that teams can compete against us on them. So we seem to work on those maps, and then it will help us in our best of threes.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with all that. I guess I want to talk about, I noticed that you guys weren't really bringing as much Zofia. Usually we'd see Repix or Jigsaw kind of playing that role. Yeah, is there any kind of change or any like reason behind you guys maybe bring more Lion, more Capital?
Yeah, I would changing it up a bit. We used to play a lot of Zofia, and I say we don't clear as much util anymore. We kind of just look for gunfights and bring like the Capital to change it, I guess, to change our attacks. So we're just clearing stuff in like other ways instead of bringing the Zof. And the Lion helps with like aggressiveness and stuff like that.
I'll very quickly, Xenox or Vast, any final questions?
Yeah, I got one. How good was Spruce's halftime message? Apparently, he's already in chat saying he's basically won you guys the game.
Spruce's halftime message? I didn't get one. Where's my message, Spruce?
You know what? That's a better question. Spruce has always been the problem on his previous rosters. So what is he bringing to the team?
I don't know. Maybe these close games with Spruce are us because of Spruce. You know, we were slamming teams, and then Bruce comes in, and it's all these 7-5s, OTs. Nah, I love Spruce. He's put in a lot of work every day, so
yeah.
I'm enjoying him.
No, he's a mad lad, that's for sure. But look, I won't keep you any longer, mate. It's already past the strike of midnight. I think we're all about to turn into some pumpkins. So any final thoughts or messages you want to leave us with?
Shout out to the chat, the support, and shout out to Bliss.
Well, that was simple and nice and easy and quick, unlike your game that took bloody forever, mate. Look, congratulations on the 2 points, and no doubt we're going to see you again next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Pretty confident in coming back around to see us next week, and I think that's warranted, Xenox. They have certainly proven to us that they will be back and back and back, and they will not stop with these best of ones.
Yeah, obviously, I think they're a team that's got high expectations on them for Stage 3. In my opinion, I think the Sky is basically to win the whole thing, right? Like, we're looking at them to be a team that's going to contest with the likes of Chiefs, the likes of Knights. They're a team that their goal is to make APAC South next year or whatever that looks like. So, to get over these sort of wins, and I think, yesterday was all about expanding the map pool. Oregon's a map they haven't had a whole lot of success on, and some adversity, I think, actually breeds success in the long run. So all of it right now is pointing good signs for Bliss. They're in second place, 2 Playdays gone. It's all thumbs up.
All right, well, let's have a look at the results of tonight. Of course, 4 matches down. We've had some close matches. We've had some absolute stomps. Vast, do you want to give us a quick overview of what we've seen?
Yeah, so we, the first game, Wildcard, had a really dominant performance against Order. Following that up, we saw Chiefs kind of mirror that performance, and then we started to see some, more back and forth, close, tight games with Over versus Rhythm and Rofl versus Bliss. Yeah, I don't know, tonight was a really interesting night. I mean, obviously, yeah. I got all my predictions right, not trying to flex, but I guess
we both did. Let's go.
Oh yes, high five.
Yes. And Mandy, let's go.
How's Xenox going? It's all right. I think Dev's kind of yeah. We won't talk
Dev's
about
got
that anyway.
Well, can I just say, the two new people at the top, 7-1, Mandy and Vast, look at that.
Yeah, geez,
Let's
that's
Where's Dev Mata? Jeez, 4-4.
that's not very good. And you know what? I'm kind of happy that we're all on par as well. And you know, speaking of on par, this man performed well above the par. That's for sure. Sawyer had an unreal night. MVP. I think that's more than warranted. And Vast, you know, we talk about it sometimes on the desk, but we don't always get to highlight it. The support players don't get enough love.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there were a lot of plays tonight that really stood out. But I just think, you know, Sawyer on the support role, +5 opening KD. You know, he's one of the primary IGLs of Overt. So he has a lot of responsibility, and you know, fragging's definitely not one of those responsibilities for him. But you know, it's good to see you know, a player like himself have such a dominant performance.
He is leading Xenox. That is a very good point. He's leaning in with the fight as well. He's a fully immersed experience of watching this.
He's one of those gamers. There's a couple of them I know in my time of casting the old esports. Some of them like to duck and move, like, he's, you know, and then others just sit completely still. I'm more of the sit completely still kind of guys, but unless I get completely shot at, and then like, if you're ever running around and you don't know a player's there and he shoots you, oh, jeez. But no, look, great player, great team. What a great night overall.
Yeah. I feel like flashes is what gets me the most, you know. See a flashbang coming, you quickly turn your head into it. But let's have a look at the standings now. It is 6 points for the Chiefs out on top. They really are showing some pretty good dominance in OCN. Is this to be expected, Vast?
In OCN, yes. I think they've proven throughout the few stages that you know, they can be really consistent in this league. That being said, I think kind of the rest of the table's not as I would expect. I would expect kind of Bliss to be up there, Rofl to be not so far behind, but I think the lower part is a bit unexpected. It is Playday 2, of course.
Call it out. Call it out, Vast. Don't be afraid, mate. It's okay. You can.
Yeah, Knights, look, you gotta get back on top.
To be fair, they're tied for 4th.
Look, let's call apples apples. It is absolutely atrocious from Knights in Order. That is honestly just, it's not something you want to see in your National League. You know, you really expect these teams to be absolutely storming away. And, you know, we can give them all of the excuses in the world in terms of prep. And right now, look, I think we can all put our hand up and say 3 competitive matches a week is not easy. There is no two ways about it. However, the big problem is tonight, Chiefs and, you know, Wildcard have both had good performances. They've got the exact same amount of prep as the other two, so there's no real excuses on tonight's performances. But anyway, that's my spiel done. That was a bit of a Xenox spiel then. I don't know how I feel about that. I felt a bit too brutal then. Sorry, boys. I'll tell you what, Xenox, take it away.
Yeah.
God, look at that bop. That is literally
Do we want to
a
release
bop.
it?
No. Oh, God. Oh! You know what? You haven't had a cut, but worse than that, you haven't actually washed it in 3 bloody months. Fast. Final thoughts on tonight before we close things out. 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, not really much to say. I'm excited to kind of track the progression of teams like Overt. I want to see what teams do this next following week to really, you know, iron out those issues. I think there are, you know, quite a few teams that, you know, it is early in the season, but this is the time that they need to be fixing them. You know, you can't wait until it's too late, and you know, there's no chance for them to, you know, avoid relegations or whatnot.
Xenox.
Yeah, look, it ended up being actually a really good night. The final 2 games, the Vert Rhythm, I thought was really fascinating to watch, and of course, Rofl Bliss was a bit of a classic. The first 2 very disappointing, especially Chiefs and Knights, but ultimately that's the first weekend of Stage 3 done, and things are very exciting, honestly, for the rest of the stage. You've got teams like Avert, Rhythm that I think have shown good signs. Avert's, of course, got a couple of points under their belt. Roflcopter's new look lineup, I think, is looking amazing. Bliss continues to be good. Chiefs as well. And Wildcard is, are they going to be back? It's hard to say. Next week they play the Knights.
Yeah, there's a lot of and ifs or buts, and that's to be unfolded in the coming weeks. But for now, that is our first week of Playdays done. There's actually Playday 1 and 2 in the books. We've still got 5 more to go. We'll be back next Friday. So until then, take care, stay safe. Oh, that is absolutely massive from Nico. The double C4.
Shaping up again, Wildcard. This is where usually they strike and they find their skills. Geo gets the heads on it.
Oh my God!
It's old Geo that's shown up. 2 quick kills.
This is where go time initiates, and oh, that's beautiful! That is Nico opening things up, but he can't find his second. Pat's now given an opportunity to Milo. It comes down to the 1v1. Jack Daddy will stick the diffuser, and now he's given an opportunity. That's unreal from him. A crisp shot
to Bailey. That's going to give Wildcard the man advantage. 12 seconds left. Pat gets the job done. Robert,
what can he get done? Plant's going down. I don't know if they can deny it. Underneath! It's God Legion! And it's 4 on the trot for the Chiefs. And AFX, he just sticks this here. He absolutely sticks this. Oh, Headpan. This makes things interesting. AFX gets off it for half a second, and all Headpan has to do is sit and wait. What a play.
Now, with 30 seconds left, they're going to draw their attention over towards Attic, but what will end up happening here is OJ's just going to file in, and both of them should just get eliminated by Jigsaw.
What? What? They do some pretty incredible things in Tier 1 Siege once they start to get comfortable. No babes! Oh, anything you can do, I can do better. Knights are a team that'll certainly do some damage to you. What is worthy going for you? Surely not. No, not to begin with. That's true! Oh, what a way to kickstart the match. Good night, Knights.
I'm running out of time. I'm running out of feeling so. I'm running out of time. I'm running out of feeling to leave it all behind. Help me see the rainbow.